Welcome to the Beauty Equation podcast, where beauty meets biology, psychology, and art history. This podcast is hosted by myself, Dr. Christelle Oliver-Dussault, Dr. Harpreet Lotay, and a beauty industry expert, Amanda Manholt. This is your space to reclaim agency over aging and beauty on your terms. We're cutting through the noise with evidence-based insights and real talk about aging, self-perception, and modern treatments. No quick fixes, no fluff. Just honest conversations to empower you to define beauty for yourself. Welcome back to the Beauty Equation. I'm Dr. Christelle Oliver-Dussault.
And I'm Dr. Harpreet Lotay.
And I'm Amanda Manholt.
Today is our 10th episode. I can't believe that we already are 10 episodes in. So if you have made it this far, thank you so much for listening. We enjoy these conversations. I hope you enjoy them as much as we do. Last time we started talking about some medical devices. So lasers and light-based treatments are a type of medical device. Today we're going to go into microneedling, which is another type of device. And I think, Amanda, you get a lot of people coming into you asking for this treatment. And it's something that you've mentioned you bring up quite a lot too, because it has so many applications.
It really does. I feel personally that microneedling is sort of an unsung hero when it comes to the tools that we have in our toolbox. I think a lot of times it's exciting to, see something, like a halo or a BBL halo combo, and, because you see a lot and it happens right away. But collagen, my friends, collagen. Anything we can do to support our collagen, to help us produce more collagen. Trust me, as somebody that's, 55, I am very in tune with the importance of collagen in the skin. So it's a great tool to use for corrective measures. So I know, Christelle, you talk to a lot of your patients that you're seeing, the acne is now under control, but there's the aftermath, right? The scarring, that sort of, textural concerns, large pores, so it's great for anything a lot of those texture related issues, but it's another really lovely thing that people can do even on the other end, where they're looking to prevent things happening in terms of fine lines, wrinkles, enlarged pores. I love it. And it's not the most expensive treatment that we offer by any stretch of the imagination. The downtime is minimal. I'd argue minimal to nearly none. So, you're not having time off of work. And gosh, if I could just get everybody to do, 3 microneedlings a year or, even every other month, I'd be very happy. And they would too. They'd really start to see some improvement in their skin.
I've often even done it myself a few weeks before if I know I have an event, because you get a really lovely uniform glow to your skin. And especially since we introduced NCTF, which is kind of like fertilizer for your skin. It's like a little vitamin cocktail. And I find that when you apply that on top afterwards, it's a really, really nice glow. So if you know that you have events coming up, it's a lovely treatment that you could do with little downtime. And, it goes a lot further than your standard facial.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. I had a treatment 3 days ago.
Oh yeah, you can barely
it's true.
tell. Looks
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So it would be good, I think, to explain the mechanics of microneedling and what the heck is it? Because, some people listening to this have done all sorts of things. And then other people listening to this are like so many that are thinking, well, what the heck is that? You're poking holes in your face? I don't think I'm down for that.
It doesn't sound very fun, right? Doesn't
You're
sound
right.
very fun. Yeah. I always go back to the analogy of aerating the lawn. It's a favorite of mine, but it's literally poking your skin. And it sort of came into popular culture when Kim Kardashian was using it in her vampire facial thing. So remember that?
Yeah.
And you had videos of her just covered
Blood
in
everywhere.
blood everywhere. And, this was microneedling, and then she put her own blood on it, and it just so so over the top, right? But
Mhm.
microneedling's come a long way from that as well, and we have different ways to use it. So it's not always
Mhm.
that dramatic. And in my opinion, and I'm going to share my opinion on microneedling here, there's various devices on the market that create those little holes.
Mhm.
Um, some of them are these pen devices that sort of go up and down,
Mhm.
and they are dragged across the skin by the technician. And you might use something to allow that pen to slip across the skin. Um, I don't know how I feel about that because
Mhm.
you've got things that are vibrating up and down, and then you've got horizontal movement across the skin. And I can't help but wonder if you get drag and excessive trauma to the skin. So,
Mhm.
my preference is a stamping device where it sort of vibrates and the technician pushes those very, very fine hair thin needles up and
Mhm.
down into the skin. And I
Mhm.
think that's a great way to microneedle. And
Mhm.
it's what it's doing is it's stimulating your skin to make collagen, but it's doing much
Mhm.
more than that because we see improvement in pigment as well as
Mhm.
even vascularity, even like redness to an extent. It globally stimulates the skin to improve itself.
Mhm.
It will clear away dead waste material. It will turn itself over. And as it's replacing itself, if you're a healthy person, and you're eating well, sleeping well, and you're using good skincare, your skin will replace damaged cells with better cells. And
Mhm.
so, not only are you improving that collagen balance because we lose a little bit of collagen as we age and we're replacing it maybe at a slower rate, we can
Mhm.
speed up that replacement so that we can keep up with the loss at least. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I really like it as a treatment.
Yeah, and I use it a lot it comes up a lot, as you mentioned it, Amanda, in the acne clinic I run that,
Mhm.
we'll have people who come in with quite a lot of inflammation, will get their skin, I like to use the term under remission because acne is a chronic condition, so either with
Yes.
topicals or oral treatments. And when things have calmed down, if they have some residual scarring, hyperpigmentation or redness in their scars, it can really help with that. You do need quite a few sessions with those, so I usually find that you're looking at 5, 6 sessions 1 month apart, and there are some scars that won't respond to that, the deeper ones, but the majority, like, you can have a significant improvement, and
Hmm.
the change in people's confidence after they've had the treatments, because acne can be really debilitating, and, I
Hmm.
get it a lot in teens, 20s, 30s, and they'll often have, like, big events, or I've had a few in this last year that, it was their last year of secondary school, and they just wanted to
Uh-huh.
have clear skin by the time they started university and didn't want to have to deal with their scarring. And it was so nice to send them off at the end of the summer when, like, we finally got there. We worked together for about a year and a half, and that was kind of the final touches to get them there. So it's a really nice tool to have. And as you said, like, it's just that mechanical injury primes the skin, and it's gentle enough. It's not as harsh as some of the more invasive devices that we have. So it's quite a
Hmm.
controlled response. And then you can then, because you've punctured those holes, you've aerated the grass, you can then put on different topicals afterwards, depending on what you're trying to achieve. So I talked about the NCTF, which is that vitamin cocktail. But what Kim Kardashian was doing with her vampire facial is really, if we extract some blood and spin it down and you're left with that gold liquid, which is your serum and has all the growth factors, those then go into your skin and will stimulate the cells and help the cells make back what lies underneath your skin and give it its support, its elasticity. So really multi-purpose, and you can do that even before you start noticing those wrinkled and fine lines. That's almost, as you
Which
said, Amanda,
still
preventative
baffles me
treatment.
why she was covered in red blood, but I don't know. I
I think
I
she was
don't
using
follow.
a pen device that was causing bleeding.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't follow Kim, and I'm sure she won't follow us. So, but yeah, I didn't ever understand what the how that was supposed to be beneficial because PRP is, as you mentioned, it's sort of a honey colored liquid. I think it's
Mhm.
also really important to mention. There are devices that people can get to use at home.
True.
Yes.
Um, those have always grossed me out for a couple of reasons. It's one thing if it's disposable, but if, how would you clean it to reuse it? Because you have to think you're actually making a microscopic wound.
Mhm.
So I'm personally not really a big fan of the at-home devices unless they're disposable.
Yeah.
Um, and then I worry that people are going to use something alongside that. We talked about serums. You can cause real problems if you're using a topical serum that is only meant for topical use in
Hmm.
conjunction with something like microneedling. I've seen some crazy stuff online, this people just rolling over their face, like making holes galore, and then using some super harsh, like retinol that it has no business being introduced into the skin. So I think, again, it's great. You just want to be smart about how you're going about it
Hmm.
and know that results take time. I think that's the other
Yeah.
thing to know for something like microneedling. As I mentioned,
Yeah.
it's not as exciting as, seeing the results of a BBL halo where like 10 days later, we just had one in the other day. It was mind blowing. Microneedling's awesome, but you have to be patient.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's not a one and done session. So I think microneedling is the perfect treatment for prevention and for treating fine lines, but it does require a lot of patience, absolutely, because you
Hmm.
need multiple treatments to get optimal results. Having said that, if you're very new to aesthetics and maybe you've done some Botox or you're really committed to skincare and you're great about your routine. You've loved facials, but you're sort of curious about something a little bit more. I think microneedling is the perfect treatment because
Hmm.
there's not a lot of downtime. It's a very easy treatment to have done.
Hmm.
It's not uncomfortable. We do use numbing. So I would say at the most, 2 out of 10, if that, if any. Most
Yeah.
Yeah.
people feel like they don't feel anything.
No.
So it's really relaxing as a facial would be. However, you get more effects in my
Hmm.
opinion because you do get
Yeah.
that collagen induction, you get this global stimulation of the skin, so you get improvement in pigment over time. People
Hmm.
see sort of a more resilience to their skin just from that
Yeah.
repetitive sort of stimulation, just like going to the gym. You're building muscles, you're really
Hmm.
building that skin's capacity to turn itself over. So if you're curious and you're wanting to step up your aesthetics game and do things that are preventive,
Hmm.
and stave off having to do more invasive things, it's perfect. And to your point,
Yeah.
Amanda, you could do that every 6 to 8 weeks if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do it all year round as well.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is something you can do in the summer months. And now, if I had somebody that had a highly melanated skin, I would want them to be pretty darn sure that they were going to stay well and away from the sun for at least 48 hours after.
And you can, use your sunscreen and all of that good stuff the next day and just stay out of the
Hmm.
sun. Absolutely.
Just
And
be smart.
you had mentioned, Christelle, that you can also use things on top of the
Hmm.
microneedling, right? So it's so
Yeah.
lovely that way.
It's a lovely combination and you can tailor it that way too. I found, on my personal use, the difference just using that NCTF. It just had a nicer glow and
Mhm.
gave the skin the nutrients. Because at the end of the day, your body's only going to be so good at healing and repairing itself based on the nutrients you have within you. And you touched on that, Harpreet, where this is where your lifestyle, what you're eating, has a huge impact. And if you're someone who, say, is drinking a lot, smoking a lot, under a lot of stress,
Mm.
not sleeping well, you're not going to heal as well. And you probably won't notice much of a difference. But if you're providing your body with the correct nutrients, the correct rest, then you will notice an improvement. And then, yeah, using that little vitamin cocktail just is like the cherry on top,
Mhm.
really.
Mhm. Yeah. It's a great little blend. I mean, nobody's perfect in their diet, right? And I
God,
think
no.
we can all use a little external support. Yeah.
Particularly this time of year with Christmas coming
Yeah,
up.
absolutely. So
Yeah,
if you're doing the microneedling and you're taking the time, you might as well give the skin the building blocks it needs to really respond
exactly.
well to that treatment for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So a shorter
Awesome.
episode today, but if you were interested in this topic and you have specific questions, let us know and we'll try to answer them in future episodes. And if there's anything that you want to tackle in 2026, it is the start of the year. So get in touch and we'll see what we can cover for you this year.
And remember, please like and subscribe.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye for now.
Bye. Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder. While we're medical professionals, everything shared on the Beauty Equation is for informational purposes only and isn't intended as medical advice. This podcast doesn't establish a doctor-patient relationship, and any medical or aesthetic decision should always be made with a qualified healthcare provider. Our views are our own and don't necessarily reflect those of our employers or affiliated organizations. And remember, the field of aesthetics is always evolving, so information may change over time. See you next time on The Beauty Equation.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who might need to hear it too. We'd love to hear your thoughts or questions. You can send us an email at info@thebeautyequation.com, and you might hear your question answered in future episodes. You can also find us on Instagram at Dr. Christelle MD, at Lotay MD, and at Crow's Feet and Confidence. Until next time, keep questioning the equation.